Welcome to Cornerstone Conversations, where we discuss timely topics impacting communities, cultures, and economies. The first topic we're going to dive into in this series is family business. Currently, there are 32 million family businesses in the U.S., generating over half of our GDP as a country. They also employ 83 million people. What's interesting is only 30% of family businesses make it to the second generation, and only 12% make it to the third. You've probably heard of the great wealth transfer that is taking place across the globe in the next 5 to 7 years. 40% of all the small businesses in the U.S. are owned by a baby boomer who is reaching retirement age pretty soon. As coaches, we're really interested in what those impacts do to communities and cultures at large. We've had the privilege of walking alongside a lot of family business leaders over the past few years, and we believe this major intersection is something that can really impact communities well. We're going to talk to 6 dads and sons that are working together and are trying to navigate what it means as a son to carry forward what their dad started, and as dads trying to let go of something that they've held on to for so long. Thank you guys for doing this. Today we're talking with McKane and Jeff Martin. I've known you guys for a long time, and I've gotten to do life with you in a lot of different seasons, and it's fun to see you guys working together now, and excited to unpack your story and learn what it's been like to work together and what the future holds. And to kind of set the stage, so this series, we're really unpacking 2 categories of family businesses. The first one is a legacy business. So this is 3rd, 4th, 5th generation business where your great-grandfather started a business and then it went to you, and then now McKane's stepping into it. The second category is what we call a joint family venture. So this is a dad and son starting something new together, and they're both bringing their unique backgrounds, skill sets, interests, passions, and putting it together to form something new. You guys are kind of in the middle. There's a little bit of both, I feel like, going on in your story. I mean, there's some new elements for sure, but there's also some legacy components from what you've been doing in the past, Jeff. And so I'm excited to kind of unpack that with you guys. So to start, maybe give us your background. You know, you have the same last name, but you have your own stories. And so, Jeff, maybe give us your background, what you were doing previously, kind of right up until the moment where you guys decided to start working together.
Yeah. Kyle, Steve, thanks for inviting us in, and we're just excited to just share a little bit of our story. So really my interest in real estate development and construction stemmed from really high school, college. I grew up in Southern California, and I was around architects, engineers, land developers, builders, all growing up. And so I was pushing brooms, I was gophering, I was doing whatever just to learn about construction, real estate development. I've kind of condensed this a little bit. Found myself in Fayetteville, Arkansas in 1993. Followed my wife here. We both grew up in Southern California. She came here to go to the university, and never in my wildest mind would I have thought that I could start my own construction business, building a residential custom home builder business at 26 years old.
Yeah.
So here I am. I had a few positions before I took the leap into being a business owner. I worked for the Bank of Bentonville on the square in Bentonville for about a year, and then I worked for a few other builders, including Wendy's father. He was a developer doing FHA homes and just affordable housing back in really the first Walmart boom, which was that mid 90s timeframe. So, anyways, a lot happened in our lives then for Wendy and I. We were starting a family, we were starting a business, and we were also learning about stewardship from a spiritual perspective, which was huge in our formation of why we were doing what we were doing. So we moved into building a few spec houses and then into custom home building over the next, that was about a 25 year run in all of Northwest Arkansas. And, as you guys well know, I mean, we learn so much in our work. God teaches us so much. There's so much formation that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm parking on that a little bit up front because that's really why we're sitting here today.
That's great.
And just having the opportunity to yes, build something and develop relationships and be part of the community formation, with residential construction and development is really fun. Starting 2 years ago now, I get to do that with one of my boys. And so that's been really rewarding, that whole transition. Did we like plan it or have any expectation of it? No, it wasn't like, a matter of fact, I think I probably ruined my boys on job sites when they were young because they were cleaning up and just doing,
that's right.
All the bad stuff.
Do you remember any of these?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, construction was not in my future until, obviously things change, but yeah, no, none of us were really.
You're not keen on the idea.
No.
Yeah.
You thought construction was simply cleaning up behind Dad.
Yeah,
the
pretty
cleanup
much.
crew.
I thought it was punishment.
It's the same as discipline.
Yeah. So after, several years of primarily custom home building, I knew that there was going to be a shift coming. Whether one of my boys was involved in it or not, I wanted to get more involved in development, land formation, from just raw land to creating something that was going to fill a need in our community. So we started that shift about 5 years ago. The vision that was on the table was just simply, we're going to pull back from the custom home building operations and pull that into just the projects that we're developing. So we're still doing design build, but it's in our own projects. And so they ended up being, more speculative.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun in a few minutes. I want us to come back to some of the thinking and that's making you pivot and shape and kind of engineer differently. I got a couple of questions I want to come back to this on because I'm always interested when business owners take a significant pivot when they it's one thing just to do a little minor innovation, whatever, add on a pool and a pool house to a house, that's whatever. But when you make a significant engineered pivot or shift in your business theory or business model, that's always interesting to me. So I want to come back to there. Stay on the origin story. Stay on that. So McKane, give us a little bit of your walk up to the moment where you're watching kind of, here's where Dad is now, and here's where the McKane, the Martin construction world is. How'd you get there?
Yeah, I obviously grew up around home building, construction, a little bit of development. Obviously, watching him run his own business. That was, if anything, from my upbringing, that was definitely still a desire of mine to own my own business. Whether that was obviously not in construction at the time, but something else, another industry. And he was always super supportive.
So time out. So early on in your formation years as a young man, the fact that you had a dad who worked for himself, had his own business, that was an appealing thing to you. So not everybody does that. Some people go the other direction. They're like, man, I want none of that world. I want to go put me in Walmart or some big company as fast as I can.
Super stable
Predictable.
Predictable. Yeah. Obviously I didn't know everything behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Which was good. But I was exposed to enough, I think, to give me the itch. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's, we both like to create stuff in our own respective lanes, and I knew I was going to be doing that at some point, and that's kind of my first career stop was at Bearded Goat with Kyle, and that's what I was doing there. I mean, I was doing all of our product development and project management, really, on the apparel side, and I mean, it's not far from what I'm doing now in our business, from just a skill set standpoint, kind of balancing some creative and linear skills. So yeah, I mean, I did that that started back in.
You were in high school.
Yeah, I mean, 2018, I was graduating high school, and at the time, Terry Turpin I don't even know, called my brother and I'm just like, you want to run the social media for this company I'm starting? And we're just like, yeah, it sounds fun. Like, you going to pay us?
Exactly. And, what do we get? T-shirts?
Yeah.
Get T-shirts, hoodies.
Free merch.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't really know what we were getting into. Obviously, where fast forward 7 years to where it ended up, I had no idea I was going to probably have the role that I had from a responsibility perspective and decision making power. That was
you got baptized into entrepreneurship
pretty
in a
gnarly
serious
at
way.
23 years old, making decisions with 7 figures attached to them. So that was great. I mean, from a small business perspective, I mean, baptized in that, and again got another little taste of operationally, how does starting a business work, all that. And he knows. I mean, I always would call him and be like, here's the situation, am I in too deep here?
Those are always fun situations.
Yeah.
You had no idea you were going to be in the apparel business yourself, did you?
Oh yeah,
Jeff
I was learning a lot.
Sidecar.
I was learning a lot.
So so started into high school all the way through college, and then post grad, a lot of life change during that whole season of your life and career. Do you remember when Jeff started thinking about pivoting away from purely custom home building to development stuff? Was that towards the end of Bearded Goat? Because you started doing some projects.
Yeah.
I remember on the side kind of helping him out with stuff.
I would say,
take us through kind of that transitional period.
I mean, I was locked in on BG and doing that to wherever that led me. I mean, graduated college in 3 years early, trying to get out, trying to work more. And I mean, I remember probably around 2020 or so, he was starting to change. I think that's something that's cool about what you were talking about earlier, Steve, his story with the pivot. It wasn't just all right, student body left, we're doing something different. He was very intentional about kind of slowly riding the ship to where he wanted to go. And now we got even a little bit more horsepower on that. So that's been fun. But I mean, I definitely recognize it. And then when he got into the development game, probably, I don't know, my last two years or 1 year at Bearded Goat, obviously I was a little bit a part of that from just I was doing some marketing, really consulting, and just some creative direction for him on project specific stuff. And we didn't really see that as an on-ramp to what we're doing now, but it's kind of turned into that. So
you didn't think that was going to lead to
not at first, really. I thought I was just kind of helping him out. I
had it in the back of my mind, but I was like, I'm not going to I wasn't going to bring that up. I was going to I wanted McKane to run his path.
Yeah.
And then, Bearded Goat was still, very much, there was a path forward there.
Yeah.
So Jeff, when you were quick, just a global question for both of you before we move on, Kyle, sorry. But when you were parenting, I'm always interested in this. We've known each other a long, long time, which is really fun for me to be sitting here with you. But when you were parenting, some some dads, some parents who own their own businesses, in some ways what they do is they try to shield their family from all of the drama and the headaches and the ups and downs and the risk and just some of that. And that's just what you think is the right approach. Some people just like, there is no shield. It's just a big old front door. And like, if you've had a bad day, it just, everybody is going to know it or whatever. How much, it's less about your emotional framework. It's more about how intentional, because I know you as a very intentional dad. That's who I know Jeff Martin is. He's one intentional dad. You're a lot of things, but I know you're that. So when you were raising your boys, were you thinking, I need to give them, some vantage of what it looks like to own your own business and to what this world is like? Over dinner, did you talk about stuff and rehearse, not necessarily your day, but like, did they feel like they were journeying with you as a small business owner, as the CEO, all that stuff? Or how much of shielding did you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. Steve, I don't think I really even processed that as being like an intentional part of parenting. It just was what it was.
Okay.
So, and I think I really, I learned that, really through, a paradigm shift of me owning something versus God providing it and I'm getting to manage it. That was really the paradigm shift. And so with Wendy, although Wendy was not a professional builder, she brought so much value to the table in our decision making. We were a small business, but you feel all the little bumps, and she was very much part of it. So family, Wendy was, it was just a natural, once we started having our kids, it was just like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And so we learned just as much as Wendy and I learned a lot from our work. The boys, I think, were learning a lot from our work.
That's where I was trying to get to. So when you talk about looking into your dad's world, it wasn't just like some cloudy thing where I don't really know or feel anything. Like you had moments of really seeing what was going on and feeling what was going on.
Yeah, for sure. A lighter moment, just to take it back, one of the first times that I was like, oh, my dad kind of has a different job than everyone else. We'd go on field trips as kids to like the job site. Like he'd sign it up with our teacher and everything, and we'd go and everyone loved it. They were like, where are we?
Absolutely.
And so I think that was like kind of where it was like, man, this is something different than like going to an office and he's got people that work for him. Like he's kind of the boss, and then I think transitioning just to us growing up, like, we felt the pressure. Like it wasn't hidden from us of like, around that 2009, 2010 time frame, and when things in the real estate market got a little shaken up, and it wasn't like there wasn't anything to be scared of. That wasn't his perspective ever, or like, but yeah, it was like we got to be unified as a family and make some decisions here that are gonna, benefit everyone and keep. So yeah, I knew that was part of owning your own business.
Yeah,
you're the check writer. You're putting food on the table, like it's on you. I'm learning that in real time right now, but that was definitely all part of it.
So last question before we get to the formation of Martin Development Group. Did you feel like you knew what your dad did, or did he just drive around in a truck? I remember this story.
Yeah,
you were telling last time.
It's funny.
Dad just drives around a truck.
He does. He drives around
the phone
and points.
Yeah. I just
a big truck, point at stuff. Yeah. No, I called my other brother, Mason, my older brother, like this is last year after I was probably, a year into working together, and I was kind of managing my first own project, not own. Probably was responsible for maybe 30% of it. And I called my brother and I was like, dude, you won't believe what I just did. He's like, what? I was like, dude, you know, like when we would drive around with dad and all he would do is just drive around on his phone and like point at stuff, and people would come up to his door and he'd just tell him he's on the phone. I was like, I just did that to like 5 people. And I've been in my truck sitting at the job site for like an hour.
Dude, you are.
I just became
I was
my
like,
dad.
I just became him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
became
funny.
Jeff. I just
Did it.
became
You are
Jeff.
him.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Oh, that's great.
Mason's like, I'm glad I'm in California.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So yeah, you both gave us your background, started kind of pivoting, thinking about development 5 years ago, started doing some side projects together towards the end of your previous job, McKane. How did the dance go? Did you bring it up? Did McKane bring it up? How did you actually decide, like, hey, let's actually work together and let's do this?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely initiated by me. I mean, he kind of mentioned it earlier. He never put any pressure on us to like onboard into the business at any point. I mean, it was all about, you know, how to get us set up for success and whatever we decided to do, literally from high school or earlier. I mean, always introducing us to different people in the industry, other industries and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely initiated by me. It started as, you know, I kind of knew BG was sunset. My time there was going to be sunsetting, and I was just calling him for like career advice. The initial like next career conversations for me had nothing to do with working together. And then it was actually, I mean, Kyle was a huge part of just kind of that discovery and just how honoring that relationship and you know, legacy piece could play into family business. And I'd kind of been, you know, probably deaf ears to some of that. Like I was, in my mind, I was still, I'm going to go do my own thing, you know, cut my own teeth, start something, go get some more experience somewhere else to do something else eventually. And
Is that because you saw this as like a handout, or what was the?
I just
I
think
mean, I
that
know the answer because we talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just had, yeah, I mean, it was just a prideful state. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to just like take an easy route, go work for my dad, like that sort of thing. And it was all like reflecting back on it all, it was just lies and BS and stuff. And it took a few people to speak that into me to be like, dude, there's a really good opportunity here, and that a lot of your skills could help kind of, you know, where he's going and stuff. Maddie, my wife, was a huge proponent of that. She was like, you got to put yourself aside. Like, this would be a cool thing
That's
to
fine.
work with your dad. And so definitely credit to her. And Kyle and I spent a lot of time in our old office kind of hashing out all the pros and cons of working with your dad.
We used the whiteboard up.
Oh,
Yeah, we were whiteboarding.
Early
like,
whiteboard days.
we had like a Steve column and a Jeff column, and then everything that was wrong with you guys.
Strikes.
Like,
There's
Did you
strikes.
ever see that? Did
No,
you ever see
Going
that?
down.
never saw
You guys
it.
got pictures of that?
Yeah. Y'all should have
I
brought
mean, that
us
can
in.
help us.
Yeah,
that can
for
help
sure.
us, actually.
Because we
Yeah.
met later on. We were,
Oh, yeah, right.
we met later on, and we had to, you know, should we like
Yeah.
why? Yeah, no, you know, that's really fun. So Jeff, on your side, you know, did you have just like one big clear epiphany? Boy, he needs to work with me. Let's get this done, or was it more like sliding out on the ice one step at a time? Let me see if this one's clear, and then I'll get another green light and get to the next. Like how did it unfold for you? Because you got more than one boy.
Yeah.
And you know, like how'd you get to the couch with two
So
of you?
definitely one step at a time. And that wasn't really from my perspective. It was really thinking about where McKane was, because I
Okay.
knew he was going through processing this. I mean, there's a lot for him to work through.
Yeah.
And father-son relationship. I mean, there's all the great things that are in that, but then there's also, the buttons. And so I wanted him to be able to get to a place, before we even, stepped into those conversations. So, but the segue it was already kind of teed up because like McKane said earlier, he was already doing some project work for us, branding,
Okay.
website, project specific type things. So he already had a really clear picture of what we were developing as part of our pivot. So we had about 3 projects that we were working on. They were all in entitlement phases and planning and all that. So pretty good clear window looking in. And I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if he's like, if this is attractive to him, if this is even something that he would want to step into. Because it was the first time I was thinking that there was actually an on-ramp that wasn't construction.
Yeah. Because
in my mind, the only way you're coming in is construction.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So, anyway, so there was definitely an open space in my thinking at that point. And then McKane, he just started asking a few questions. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we just quickly got to a point, hey,
was there one moment? Was there one dinner, one event, one where you guys shook hands and said, let's do this deal?
Yeah, there were 2 probably. There was we went to Thai Spice in Fayetteville over in Weddington. I was living over there at the time. And yeah, that was probably the first, like, let's put something together. Maybe, I don't think we were like inking a deal to like start a company together like we have now, but it was, what are some of your weak spots in your business that my skills will just directly affect.
Yeah.
So yeah, we identified kind of some special projects really to start, and I did that for about 6 months, and that's kind of how it started. And then we had another one probably maybe 2 months after that at our office, and we were just like, all right, let's put everything on the table. What are your biggest concerns? What do you not like about me? Like, what do you not like about how I work? Like, sure. Where could you see this going south? Or
it's good. Like, we've done a little bit of work together.
Yeah, we just laid it like all expectations. We laid it out, which was good. He has always, my whole life has been approachable, and like I've never been afraid to like ask him anything. So, we had that kind of deal, and then we put together kind of a formal arrangement. It wasn't Martin Development Group yet. I was still actually contracting for Martin Building Group, and yeah, that was about a year. And then once he kind of figured out that I wasn't going anywhere, then we kind of revisited what
was that the testing period?
What Martin Development Group would be.
I got that picture.
Yeah. So
I want to add though. So at that Thai Spice meeting that we had, which was the first official, hey, let's talk about what this looks like. McKane's largest concern, and I so appreciate this, is that, look, I knew he had so much fire in him to start his own business. I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't know what it was and when. And so that was a big deal to him. He did not want to be in a place where I'm just rolling into dad's business, call it a handout. Yeah. And I clearly remember my response to that. I'm like, well, McKane, first of all, I'm surprised that you would think I would give you a handout. And then 2, I can make sure that happens.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
you make it sound like it's that was a bad arrangement.
Yeah. No, it was no, we had fun with the conversation ultimately. But it was serious though there. We had to
It was more of a coattails thing. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is a real thing.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a real thing in
absolutely.
sons joining their dads.
Especially in our
business.
line of work. Like it's it's kind of a, you know, man eats boy culture.
But when you look at like just nationally, you look at the history of land developers, builders. I mean, there's a lot of generational pass in those businesses because they are, you know, they're private in most cases and small business in nature.
Yeah, and there could be some asset carry going on where
absolutely,
there's stuff that takes long time horizons.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Investment properties.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Exactly.
that.
That's interesting. That's interesting,
stuff.
Jeff. Yeah.
So, you know, coming out of that conversation, I think we were both resolved, okay, let's take the next step. And at that point I was, you know, I still had a dad hat on because I wanted to unselfishly give McKane good direction in what are your next steps. I'm going to support you no matter what. This is not a lock-in. From just the perspectives, because we had this talk, I'm still giving you the freedom to make choices and decisions.
Yeah,
that was it. So, and then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, how do we shape this? Because it's not going to be a coattail thing.
That's great.
So we can go into that a little bit.
You mean like structure-wise?
Further structure-wise.
How did you do that? Just briefly touch on it because that's probably something a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah.
How are you going to structure this, dad and son? Because you don't want to hand out, but you probably are also like, we talked about this last time. How do you handle risk now that your son's involved?
Yeah.
You probably naturally want to shield him from some of it because he's your son, but he's saying, don't shield me, you know? So how'd you navigate that?
Yeah. I mean, just simply put, Martin Building Group is, you know, primarily our construction, our vertical integration practice. I mean, that's the construction part. Okay. So with the projects that we're doing, in most cases, they're all single asset entities. So you're starting a whole new LLC for a specific project. So we put together some formation there with these new LLCs with an ownership structure that was shared with a common new LLC, Martin Development Group. So Martin Development Group owned a share of the project LLC. So that way we were also able to protect, you know, a young balance sheet and also have some skin in the game and some ownership.
It's great.
Legitimately.
Yeah. Great structure.
Ownership. So it wasn't just you're getting a paycheck.
I'm a big, you know, you guys all know I'm a big organizational design guy. I've always loved it. And whenever you organize a company and there's a lack of integrity, and when I say integrity, don't think moral, think construction for construction guys. Whenever you design something that's really, it can't hold you, but you know, it's either upside down or it's just got fractures in it. Structural integrity. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You know, it's going to show up eventually. And so you guys were designing against some very important principles and values and outcomes and things. And so I love that, the structural design pieces of how you guys said, let's organize it this way so we can get these things, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think something to also note too, just on that point, like from a decision-making standpoint and like legally voting standpoint, we're the same. And I say that we may not financially be the same in every project, but like that just gives me a lot of confidence as a partner, not just like his son.
And that's a perfect example. So, okay, and that's a perfect example of what I'm saying. You know, like you can't have it where there's equal risk. Because when you said young balance sheet, I got it. I know what that looks like, you know, but you can't also be like, well, I'm only going to be a 5% or 10% or 15%, you know, voice in the future or vision or what we're doing. So I love that. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, fellas.
Got your backgrounds, kind of got the formation story. transitional period, got some structure in place. What's it like to work together now, dad and son? How are you dividing up roles? Who's doing what? Just kind of on a day-to-day basis. And we can get into maybe some of the juicier stuff after that. But just at a surface level, how are you dividing up roles and responsibilities? What's that been like?
Got it.
You got it. Well, being a really small business, basically Wendy and I and McKane and Mandel. I mean, those,
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. We do have a project superintendent, and then we have a operations manager.
Did you hire someone? I know you
Yeah.
you
We
did.
just
Yeah.
did.
Actually,
started
just
on
this
Monday.
week. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Her name's Candy Holcomb.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
just kind of got like a operation background
Cool.
in commercial construction, small bit like medium sized business.
Nice.
So
We're just
Fun.
hoping she's like a Swiss Army knife.
we're hoping.
Yeah.
There's her resume check the
Okay.
boxes.
Yeah,
So,
check.
There you go.
So
Check.
small team. I mean,
yeah.
Small
you're all
team,
doing everything.
Yeah, I think there's there's a lot of formation to still happen there.
Yeah.
But I feel pretty good that we've navigated thus far. McKane and I our dispositions are pretty similar. Just from dealing with tension and pressure and response, not reacting. So we're gonna lean into conversation
Yeah.
when really we've got to deal with something hard. I think we do that pretty well. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Is that typically, has that been a daily, a weekly, a monthly? Like when y'all have to have a conversation or two, or another tie lunch,
Nice, yeah.
is that a weekly thing, or is that a monthly thing, or is there any way to know?
I mean,
not weekly.
not weekly. Yeah. I mean, I think our workflows, we both have so much independence in our roles
Okay.
that I think, global conversations don't happen that often, I guess. But, we both know what each other are doing and what we're responsible for, to where we can kind of get an inkling of like, hey, we probably need to like circle up here and make sure we're on the same page. And
So majority of the time, you're just head down in your lane, doing your respective work pieces.
I mean, there's a lot of crossover, and
Yeah.
there's still there's training and learning. I mean, honestly, he's had a fire hose in his mouth for the last 2 years on all the a lot of the construction related stuff. Because that at the end of the day, the way we started it all out, I'm like, look, you need to get your real estate license. Whether you end up becoming a broker agent doesn't matter. It's just for the knowledge and getting some transactions under your belt. Already knew that his gift sets were creative, but also like project management, linear thinking, which is a very unique gift set to have both of those. So really over the last 2 years, he's the things that he's accomplished that were allowing us to make this transition and give him ownership was he took the whole property management platform and has managed that and run that with all of our student residences. And then also put him on a beginning to end assistant role in on the site under my superintendent.
Nice.
So he learned a lot about what needs to happen on a site from beginning to end, not just the planning stages.
Yeah.
So I think that's really summarizing the last 2 years. In addition to that, all the branding, marketing stuff that it's his wheelhouse.
Yeah. Just oozes out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like literally at the point where I'm just like, Tanner, you got it.
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
good.
Just make sure the signage is sustainable, right?
Just make sure it's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's sustainable.
Sign maintenance and construction is
That's a real thing.
horrible.
That hits on a point I wanted talk about too was letting go of certain things. Like as the older generation, some core tensions I've seen with dad and sons that just pop up that are working together. The sons' core tensions are ambition versus humility. So ambition, they want to be here, they want to put their fingerprints on it, they want to be involved, they want ownership, they want the risk, but they also have to balance some humility.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be grinding your gears nonstop.
Yep.
The dad's core tensions are some element of steering wisely because you still have more experience, more knowledge, years of doing this, but you also have to let go of some things. Otherwise, son's going to get burned out, and they're like, "Well, why am I sticking around if I don't get to do anything?" So those two tensions are at play for both of y'all. Has that shown up at all? Have there been moments where you're like, "I need to hold on to this, but I guess I'll let go of this thing to him"?
Oh yeah.
And then same thing for you. Are there things where you're like, "I want to go tackle this, but I'm going to wait"? Is that showing up at all?
Oh yeah. And even some things that like I have, developed habits and just ways that I have, been doing things that need to get broken.
Yeah.
And so McKane's been really good at, gently bringing those to my front door. So we've, I think that's been really good. Here's what I would say. This is what I really would want to say about this whole last 2 years is that McKane he's really made it easy because of his response to learning. Like he just knows he needs to learn. Mm-hmm. And then he's even taken it one step further, which once he learns, he then anticipates. And so when you see someone anticipating projects, next steps, like that's just like, okay, there's an easy release.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Proves they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that we have talked about that. I mean, it's really cool to be able to fan the flame into your son. I mean, it just is. And so to see him take that and run with it, and really from the perspective of like, hey, like I get to have some input and decision making in the formation of this, having my fingerprints on it moving forward. Yeah. I'm going to be alongside, but I know there's going to be a point where I'm just fanning the flame. Not that there's any pre-programmed like retirement or I'm trying to get out. Yeah, like that's not, it's really not there. I'm sure you'll probably tell me when it's like, bro.
Yeah.
People ask me that all the time.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Like literally, I probably once a month. Like, so when's Jeff gonna hang it up? I'm like,
when's Jeff going to the service?
I don't think he's going to, honestly.
Just because we're working together doesn't mean he's like close to the end.
Yeah. So I mean, I think two things. One, to that point, I think the ambition for me, he didn't really touch on it much in his backstory, but at some point, Martin Building Group was a like 15-person company doing a lot of volume, and he had a pretty good operation going, and I think for me, it's just an ambition of mine is to grow a company and to lead people, and he's kind of realized in his later years, I can make the same margin and kind of simplify things, and so I think we're gonna find the balance of that, and he's all for encouraging that if that's my desire, and then secondly on the humility part of it, which I can get over my skis a little bit sometimes, but I mean I call him. I'm like, dude, I don't what do I do here? Like I have no idea. Yeah. Like I'm never gonna be above like knowing that I don't know what to do. Yeah. And I've only screwed up maybe like 3 big times. Like,
we're keeping count of.
Yeah. That have been like had a conversation.
I forgot about them already. I don't even know what they are.
That have like required a conversation. But so yeah, that's been pretty pretty ebb and flow.
Are there any
Up front.
moments where you're like, you really want to go some direction or do some project or something, and Jeff's just not there, or you don't align, or you just have to pump the brakes, and you're like, I'm just going to pump the brakes for a little bit, even though I wish we could go. Is that showing up at all?
It does. I've learned that I need to come with a performa and some research
There you
before
go.
I just
There you go.
like,
Giddy up on that one.
yeah. So, and he just in his current season, like he just doesn't have. He wants to, but he just doesn't have the time to do a lot of the new market research and what concepts could we bring to this area. What things are rapidly changing in the development space.
It's the dad role. Bring me the dream. And the numbers.
Exactly.
And the
exactly.
numbers.
So, and I'd nerd out on that kind of stuff. So, studying bigger markets and figuring out what we can do here. So yeah, whenever I see a project, I'm like, hey, I know you've probably never looked at this piece of property like this, but I think this would work here. He's all about that. But yeah, we can't pull the trigger on everything. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into, we've talked about like some concepts and dreams for like scaling some of this, and that kind of goes into the future. What is the future and the vision of Martin Development Group, and what does that look like? And we've talked about this before, there's kind of 3 seasons that a family business will go through over the course of its lifespan, and these can be a few weeks or they can be decades long, but at some point you'll kind of move through these gates. The first one is the dad is leading and the son is just learning. You're just getting your feet wet, taking your real estate test, figuring out what development looks like, all that stuff. Second season is you're both leading in some capacity, whether that's title related, responsibility related, ownership related, whatever. You're both leading in a real way. And then the third and final season is where the older generation is some type of shepherd, advisor, slowing down, surfing in Mexico, calling with advice only or something.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's still way out in the future, but where are you in that kind of journey? And then what does the future look like for MDG?
I'll let him answer, but I'll say something first. I think his nature, he's always going to be having some type of special project going on, even if it's a solo mission for him. And I think that's the way he's built. Like he's just always going to be tinkering with stuff. And I'm all for it. Like I don't need to have some like, passing the baton ceremony. Like I don't need that. So, but yeah, so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
he'll always be.
Yeah, he can
involved.
kind of he may have some other thoughts on that. But
And it sounds like you're structured to do that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. I think we're in that season 2, where I think there's leadership coming from both sides.
Yeah.
And really I think it's not really necessarily we had to have a conversation about it. I think it's just out of a mutual respect for each other. I guess this was probably maybe about 6 months ago. It really hit me like I need to release things to McKane that are appropriate. I don't want him to be locked into my formation for the last 30 years as a custom home builder. Yeah. And I've been through some extreme cycles already in real estate, given 2008 through 10, where we, like McKane had alluded to, we had grown pretty large there, and that was kind of that second Walmart push, mid 2000s. And, we quickly contracted when the market went down. And so, that brought a whole new level of conservatism to my box. And I've really kind of, I still keep that box in sight. And so I don't want that to press down on him, but transfer as much, process and planning and and understanding balance sheet and lenders and market that I can. 'Cause I know none of us have a crystal ball. So, I mean,
Yeah.
all I can do is just
Yeah.
give them what I have experienced, but at the same time, don't press it down too hard.
So is the new business you guys are building together, how much of it, well, actually, let me go a different direction first. I know both of you guys to be very missional, very multi bottom line. It's not just about the money. The money and the economics are important, but it's not only about that. You guys are very community oriented in the way you think about life, et cetera. Um, have you figured out yet how the new entity embraces all of that? Or are you still trying to work through that? Like, the core question is, to what degree does the new development company, is it embodying a lot of this additional stuff for you guys, or is that still kind of stuff we're trying to figure out and work on? Because I know that's who you've been your whole life that I've known you, and I know that's who you have been and are becoming. And the beauty of owning your own business is you can take some levers and expressions to implement and integrate more missional, more community, more faith, more multi-bottom line kinds of things. So, where are you guys in the journey of that thing? Because I know that's who you are, but where are you in the journey of that with the new business?
That's a great question. I would say that, one of the cool things about developing, like we talk about stewardship a lot, and obviously people, associate that with money or possessions, but in our business, it's really easy to prioritize a bottom line financially, and you botch a project from a community perspective. So, identifying highest and best use for a piece of land or property, and how, that's going to live on in Fayetteville through, up to Bentonville. We're in the long game on a lot of that stuff. So, and then secondly, like all of our, small, we're calling them enclave developments that we do, mostly residential. Some we're kind of moving into a mix of things, but we want the people that are gonna live there or participate there to. I mean, we're about relationships. We want to be a part of that in the operation of some of those ventures, which we do with our student housing operation. We're very involved in those students' lives and yeah, just kind of being a part of that experience in college.
Great.
I mean, they're, a lot of college kids don't really know themselves. So yeah, that's been cool for both of us, Maddie and my mom also. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that from an organizational standpoint, like, we've got some people that have been working for us for a long time, 20 years. And yeah, I want to see them grow. I want to see them make more money. I want to see their families flourish. Like I want to do projects that are going to set them up to, to play to their strong suits too. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
good.
kind of definitely, a big aspect of how we just make decisions and stuff.
Yeah, I think that just, the overall, you talk about mission statements and so forth for businesses and life. I think, and I've learned a lot of this from Steve. So, I think what's most important in our work is that we're getting the opportunity to transfer truth, biblical truth, after we're letting that reconcile ourselves, transfer that in the context of all of our relationships. And so, that helps us form, who we are, how we're going to do things. And, it's at the end of the day, I mean, we got a project going, just a few blocks away here, and we got a whole bunch of different trade partners working on that job site, and so we stay in the mix with those guys. We're not like some office guys that just hammer down. We're like, we were out yesterday, just verifying layouts on all these kitchens and bathrooms and framing punch lists, just coming alongside helping our superintendent a little bit. So that I think that's part of what we'll end up doing. And McKane already mentioned the community, the outward facing side of that. I mean, we get the opportunity to rub shoulders with a lot of folks in Fayetteville or Northwest Arkansas. And that's really fun to do that. Like it isn't about just the dollar. I mean, it's necessary, but to right place a project, whether it's infill or new development, I mean that's becoming more and more important. Just because land gets a little more scarce, or in the case we're in right now, the last really since 2020, our the whole residential market has shifted nationally. It's just different.
Yeah,
people are living different. Yeah, people are working different.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not of a current mission that we're trying to do anything large and big development. It's really more like McKane said, enclave, infill, what we can really get our team around and do well and provide something for the community. That makes sense.
And fully perform, at least for now, from acquisition through planning and horizontal and vertical construction.
And that's really what allows us to do these small projects, because we're fully vertically integrated. I mean, we're from acquisition to operation. Turn the key.
Yeah. Or sale.
So the maybe to kind of start to land the plane, the heart for this series of conversations, there's 6 dads and sons we're going to sit down with, is the vision would be for more dads to see working with their sons as a chance to amplify their legacy and to disciple their son in the workplace, to pull them into the professional side of their life and to expose that to their heart and their vision for how life should be lived. And for sons, more sons to see working with their dad as an honor and not just a handout. I mean, you talked about kind of that struggle. I had the same thing and had the same conversation with Esther early on. So that's kind of the heartbeat for this. Yeah. More dads to see this as a way to amplify legacy and disciple their sons in the workplace. More sons to see this as an honor, not a handout. What would you say, to another dad and son combo that's starting to think about working together or hadn't thought about it, and there's an opportunity or an on-ramp to do something? What would you say? How would you speak into that or encourage them or give any advice?
Yeah, I think you the topic at hand is one thing, business. But I think you really got to back up and identify, where really are we, or where is your son individually, in his identity, and is there any dysfunction that we need to talk about first? Like, what do we need to get out on a table? What, you just got to be, be brutally honest. Yeah. Like, these are things that concern me. Like you guys did the whiteboard on us. We didn't get to do a whiteboard on you guys.
Exactly.
You've been doing it your whole life. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. You've got 30 years.
Well, you're probably right. We have. You're exactly right.
You're right.
We have been.
Yeah, I just got called out.
It's like, how many whiteboards you whipped out in front of me?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
A lot.
That's right. I think that's just really understanding like the heart of the mission of working together. And I'm speaking from a perspective of a really small business. I mean, there's other businesses where there's a lot more structure involved in layers. Yeah. And I think that does come into play because, you could have people that are working in that business for 20 years, and then you have, 25-year-old son coming in, and like he doesn't have any experience and he's calling shots. Like, I know that there's that. We don't, fortunately we don't really have that other than with Doug. But I had a sit down conversation with him. I said, "Hey, look, I'm not intending on bringing McKane in here and he's going to be your boss and he doesn't know what he's doing." So I don't know. I think it's just communication and identifying what the dysfunctions may be or could be.
Good.
And getting those out. And then just a clear working relationship. I know one thing that I learned early on was that, like when I was coaching and so forth, I mean, I made it very clear. I was like, "Hey, look, I'm your dad, number one, period. When I'm on the field and we've got your whole team there, like we're in coaching game mode. When I'm off that field, I'm full dad." And that was really basically the way we established this. Like,
I call him Jeff at work. I'm just kidding.
I
mean, sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Are there ever like, hey, this is business partner conversation, and hey, this
Yeah.
is dad son
Yeah.
conversation? Or are they all blurred together?
I intentionally try to not put us in a father-son context and like in front of other partners or just to protect everyone,
Yeah.
really.
That's smart.
But yeah, I mean, I think if I was going to tell someone to answer your question, like, what all do I need to know before deciding to work with my dad? Or, I mean, I think really understanding the business first is a start. I mean, a lot of like what you said earlier, like a lot of sons just like, "So what do you do for work?" Like, so yeah, there were a lot of things I was like, how does this work? Like, how is this put together? Like, from a business perspective, have you always done stuff like this? Like, I had a little bit of insight into some things. And then, on the personal side, I mentioned it earlier. It's just, I mean, he's always been approachable. So like, it's always an open door, ask whatever you want. Like, he's never hid anything from me. So, I mean, I think there's don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid, even though it's your dad, don't be afraid to get too personal. I mean, at the end of the day, it's two business partners anyway. Like, all partners to be successful have to have those transparent conversations, in my opinion, my young opinion, at least. So, I mean, I think that's
good.
I think we also established, this has been said a few times, that we like out loud, like, hey, we realize we're going to learn from each other too. This is not just a one-way deal.
Yeah,
That's great.
cool.
And I think that's probably been more important than we even could have ever thought.
Yeah, that's very, very important. And the reality is it's very real. It's really true.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way that you or I can think about our business the way they would think about our business. We can think about it, but not through their eyes or through their life experiences or the way they would see the market or the opportunities or whatever. So that's a great one, Jeff. Great one to end on.
I think the other thing, one last thing, more like a family angle. Like, I've got two other brothers. They're not involved at all in our business, or my sister in any way. So, I had a lot of, I think, just encouragement from them. Like they weren't like, "Oh, you're gonna go work for dad," or like whatever. They were just like, "Dude, do it." Like,
That's cool.
Someone's got to do it. Like that was kind of like the
Someone's got to help the dude out.
Somebody's got to roll him in the wheelchair one day. Come on, man.
little backdoor conversation. Like,
Sure.
All right, rock, paper, scissors. Who's gonna step
who's
up?
got it?
That's awesome.
So that was cool too. And we both have desire to get them in the fold, whether it's just from a financial perspective at some point, as well. So we wanted to be for the family and stuff. So
That's great. Well, excited for you guys, and it's been fun to watch you kind of start this together and excited for the future of what y'all are going to do. And yeah, thanks for coming to do this.